Comrades, we must make sure that those who support Palestine, especially our brothers and sisters who believe that Palestine is under attack, this nonsense of Israel can only be stopped if South Africa takes a position and say, leave, the whole African continent will join, the whole progressive international world will join and say Palestine embassies must leave. So today, we have no memorandum.
Mr. Julius Sello Malema is a South African politician who is also the founder and leader of Economic Freedom Fighters, which is called the EFF. Mr. Malema has recently become very vocal on African issues. He has a firm perception about how Western countries view Africa and how they also take advantage of the continent of Africa resources. In this particular video, I'm bringing you few videos of Mr. Malema that will shock you. Let's watch these videos. I will be back.
ICC, Putin is welcomed here. And no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will finish all his meetings. We'll take him back to the airport. We're not going to be told by these hypocrites of the International Criminal Court who know the real violators of human rights, who know the murderers of this world. That former Prime Minister of Tony Blair admitted that they made a horrible mistake when it comes to Saddam Hussein. They've not been charged today. Bush is still there. They've not been charged till to date. And then Obama killed Gaddafi. And then nothing has happened. We're here today with Libya being destroyed and unable to recover because of America. We know very well that where NATO gets involved, those are terrorists. We know very well where the US says we are going in to install peace. That place will never know peace as long as America has visited that place. So we don't want ICC's hypocrisy to apply here in our country. President Putin is welcomed. We know our friends. We know the people who liberated us. We know the people who supported us. In Kutoko-Naval, the weapons that were used in Kutoko-Naval that led to the liberation of South Africa.
Yeah. So I think this video was when the ICC issued a warrant of arrest of Mr. Vladimir Putin of Russia, the Russian president. And that during that time, the Vladimir Putin was supposed to attend the BRIC meeting in South Africa, and there was doubt that he would come because they were thinking when Vladimir Putin comes to South Africa, the South Africa have to hand Mr. Putin over to the ICC. And he issued this particular speech when he said, Vladimir Putin will come to South Africa and no one will touch him. And he was very angry that, and he accused the Western countries, and he was saying a lot of these Western leaders has caused atrocities. Mr. Tony Blair has agreed or has accepted of how they made a mistake killing Saddam Hussein, and Mr. Obama also accepting that one of his regrets, his regrettable moment is for them killing Gaddafi, who was the Libyan president. So he was very angry about this particular I love that particular speech because he was bold, brave. He is like, that man is not scared of anybody. He's very brave. And if we are going to have such leaders to lead most of the African countries, we will succeed, or we will start achieving our goals. So let's go to the next video. This particular video was when he was invited to give a speech in Kenya. It was just recently. Mr. PLO Lumumba has decided to form an institution called the Pan-African Institute in Kenya, and he was invited to give a speech. And he didn't disappoint. He went straight to the point and shared his views. Let's watch this particular video. I will be back.
As we have seen over the decades, there is no way Euro-American is going to fund an intellectual project that will see Africa truly become intellectually sovereign. A truly sovereign Africa is a threat to the imperialist establishment that continue to determine the agenda and control of our resources. This is despite most African countries gaining independence from colonial rule since 1957. Massive, huge tracts of land, our mineral resources, our animals, our oceans are still owned and controlled by the colonial masters. There are no countries in the entire African continent that have gained full economic emancipation and independence. And this includes Ghana, which was the first to lead the road. Till to date, it can't claim that Africans in Ghana own the means of production. In 2016 report titled The New Colonialism reveals that there are 101 British companies listed on the London Stock Exchange that control an identified 1.5 trillion US dollars worth of resources in Africa in just 5 commodities: oil, gold, diamond, coal, and platinum. This is a very conservative figure since it includes resources listed by only some companies. Many companies do not provide the figures of the resources they control. And majority of these companies that do not tell us what they control and what they own in Africa are found in DRC, because they are the ones who fuel the divisions in DRC. They are the ones who fuel the fight in DRC, and they are stealing the resources of DRC because they know there is no proper accountability for such resources. The War on Want report on neo-colonialism further illustrates that the fact that these 101 companies control and own the following key resources on our continent: 6.6 billion barrels of oil, currently worth 276 billion US dollars. They control 79.5 million ounces of gold, worth 119 billion US dollars. They control 699.3 million carats of diamonds, worth 134 billion of US dollars. 3.6 billion tons of coal, worth 216 billion US dollars. 287 million ounces of platinum, worth 305 billion US dollars. These are the numbers that reflect British neo-colonialism in the African continent. I've not spoken about what French companies are doing. The Portuguese continue to play a significant role in the economy of Mozambique and Angola. The French continue to micromanage all the countries that were their colonies, except the recent liberated zones of Mali and Burkina Faso. Comrades, the French are brutal, to a point that post-colonialism, they still make certain African countries to pay colonial tax to France. The French are brutal, because some of their former colonies, their reserve banks are still in France. They are not in control of their own economy, yet they claim to have an independence. We, as progressive Pan-Africanists, must fully associate with and support all revolutionary actions of fighters who are removing puppets of French imperialism from political office and power. Not all these actions are revolutionary, because we must be careful of French-sponsored coups in Africa, where we think there is a revolution taking place in Guinea-Conakry, only to find that there is a French puppet who seeks to replace those who were there before. There is nothing revolutionary about the Guinea-Conakry coup. We ought to separate that there can never be a revolutionary coup that reinforces French imperialism on African soil. Anyone who comes into political office under the pretext that they are fighting a French puppet, while knowing they are the French puppet themselves, must be isolated by progressive Pan-Africanists. All French soldiers and military must leave the African continent, and this also should apply to neo-colonial military bases, including the African Command Center of the USA. We don't want the army of America. We don't want the army of France here. We don't want the army of anyone. We want African army on African soil.
Well, yeah. Another great video from Mr. Julius Malema, where he touches a lot of issues happening around Africa. This time, he touches how after independence, since 1957, and Ghana started the independence and it spread across Africa. But even after independence, it seems the independence was just a small screen. The independence was not really an independence. It was fake independence, because France still control majority of the Francophone countries, the French-speaking countries. France still control their resources, and France is still letting these countries save in their country. He has opened a reserve where all these countries put their money, and at the end of the day, they will take the same money and give to you as a loan, and you are going to pay an interest. After that, majority of these French-speaking countries also use their resources, some like lithiums, to power France electricity reactors or nuclear reactors. So the man has touched on a lot of issues, and that is what made me normally like this man, because he has been bold. He has been bold. A lot of people think he talk without action, but until he gained power to rule South Africa, he's not going to be able to be that powerful, because at the end of the day, you need power to change situations. So let me not bore you with talking. Let's go to our next video. This particular video is also a video when the Israel and Palestinian war started, the conflict started, and he decided to gather his supporters to stage a protest against Israel, because he think the decision or the act of Israel is a genocidal. So he decided to share his view, and as usual, he didn't disappoint. So let's watch these particular videos too, and I will be back.
We are here to do a simple task, to tell Israel and the world to know that we are on the side of Palestine. We are not neutral, because neutrality during the difficult times is equal to selling out. Palestinians will remember the silence of those who kept quiet during difficult times. We are here today in Pretoria, the heart of apartheid. The reason why we are able to come and march here today and do it freely, without soldiers carrying guns, without police carrying guns, without us being intimidated, is because the people of the world stood with us during difficult times. It was the people of Nigeria who took their money from their salaries and donated to liberation movement for us to get our freedom. It was the anti-apartheid movement in America, in UK, in many other parts of the world, where the world stood in solidarity with us and said, we will not sit down and watch the Afrikaner apartheid regime killing our people in South Africa. That's why we have our freedom today. We are here to extend the same favor to the children of Palestine. The war in Palestine is not a holy war, it's an evil war. Because even here, the apartheid Afrikaner regime used to say they are the chosen ones, used to say they are children of God and we are animals. So when the Minister of Defense of Israel calls Palestinians animals, we know what he means, because we were called animals ourselves here in South Africa by those who were claiming they were sent by God. There is no holy war there, there is an evil war, and we must always stand against the evil. Comrades, what type of government do we have in Israel that goes and bomb a hospital where people have run away for refugee, where people are sick, where children are there, where pregnant women are there? You bomb a hospital and you say you are looking for Hamas, but you are killing innocent children. There is nothing wrong Hamas did. This folk tongues and people speaking in parables and we don't know what they are hearing, what they are saying, it's wrong. When you are oppressed, the only option you have is to fight. And that's what Hamas is doing. They are fighting for their freedom. Mandela did the same thing, took up the guns and fought for the freedom of the people of South Africa. When you are oppressed, you only have one option: confront the enemy and shoot to kill. Do not kiss the enemy. Why do you want to kiss the enemy? People came, took the land of the Palestinians. Every year they extend their occupation. When you look at the map of Palestine, there is nothing left of land in Palestine. The people of Palestine have got nothing to lose but their chains. They must stand up and fight for their freedom, and condemning Hamas is an act of cowardice. I heard some fools saying we can't compare Hamas with Mandela and them. They are the same. This president of Areta carried guns. He was shooting to kill, to liberate you. He was doing exactly what Hamas is doing. O.R. Tambo did the same thing. Chris Hani did the same thing. Winnie Mandela did the same thing. Steve Biko did the same thing. There is nothing wrong Hamas is doing. But where did this ANC and MK get money to have guns, to have ammunition, to have food? The international progressive world gave them guns, gave them food, gave them their camps, Cuba gave them doctors. They were called terrorists, like Hamas is called terrorists. But people did not see terrorists in them, they saw liberators. The EFF, when it takes over next year, is going to arm Hamas and make sure Hamas has got the necessary equipment to fight for their freedom. Netanyahu is a #1 terrorist, and he must be declared everywhere he goes. He must never know peace because he's a #1 world terrorist, and the world must fight against terrorists. A murderer, a person who's committing genocide in Palestine in the name of attacking Hamas, yet is attacking innocent women and children. He says to them, I'm giving you 24 hours to leave Gaza or else I'm coming in. As the people are walking out of Gaza, scared of Israel, he's shooting those innocent people. Yet he's the one who said leave. When they are leaving, he's killing them. It can't be that the people of South Africa, who are beneficiaries of international solidarity, sit back and allow this nonsense to go on. We don't want apartheid Israel. And when we say we don't want apartheid Israel, it must never be confused with the fact that we are saying we don't want the Jews. It's not true. There are a lot of white people in South Africa when we're fighting a white apartheid regime. One of them is here. He joined the struggle against white apartheid in South Africa. Yet he was white because he never saw that struggle as a struggle against white people. He saw it as a struggle to liberate the oppressed masses of our people. So where are the progressive Jews to stand up and say we do not associate ourselves with Netanyahu? No one must go around saying we are fighting with Jews, not in our name. We are not fighting with Jews, we are fighting with an apartheid Israel, and it shall fall. It's just a matter of time before the illegitimate government of Israel falls. Comrades, we are not only going to arm Hamas, we are going to remove this embassy. Because we can't stay with murderers in the same area, breathe the same air with people who kill innocent people. Don't listen to those who are here on Friday coming for PR. They've got the power to remove this nonsense behind this truck. They are not removing it. Why? They are getting money from the Israeli government. That's why they are scared of the Israeli government. Cyril Ramaphosa was made a president with the money donated to him by the Jewish people who are behind this Israeli embassy and the Israeli government. Those who gave Cyril money are the Jewish people who are not progressive, are Jewish people who want to perpetuate the apartheid Israel and the oppression of Palestine. That's why Cyril can't say anything. He went to the ANC, NEC, wear a scarf. Yes, sirs. Those Jewish people were like, "Wena, you wear a scarf with Palestinian scarf with our money." He had to issue a statement to explain himself. There is nothing to explain, even ourselves when we live here. We are not explaining anything to anyone. We make no apology for being here. Comrades, call to action. McDonald's is giving the soldiers of Israel food in Israel. We want McDonald's South Africa to distance itself from what is happening in Israel. They've got until the end of this month to issue a statement distancing themselves from what McDonald's is doing in Israel, giving murderers food to murder women and children. Comrades, Woolworths has got a responsibility by end of this month to remove every product on their shelves that comes from Israel. If they don't remove products from Israel, we'll go and remove them ourselves. We don't want any product of Israel sold here in South Africa. We don't want the food that comes from the people who have blood of innocent people on their hands. We are warning all those who are in business with Israel. We are coming for you, because you are the ones who make that government to be what it is. If we engage in an international boycott of all products that come from Israel, Israel will hear that now we have to respect the rights of Palestinians. Comrades, we must never get tired. We will come here as and when we feel like all the time. President of Pudemo, these marches are very impactful. This is what liberated us, and this is what is going to liberate Palestine. We will always come here to remind these people that we don't want what's happening in Palestine. Comrades, the role of embassy is to collect intelligence for their countries. So all embassies of Israel in the world, when they file every day, there was a protest at the embassy. There was a protest at the embassy. One day, that government will listen, because they will know that the world doesn't agree with what they are doing. Comrades, we must make sure that those who support Palestine, especially our brothers and sisters who believe that Palestine is under attack, this nonsense of Israel can only be stopped if South Africa takes a position and say leave. The whole African continent will join, the whole progressive international world will join and say Palestine embassies must leave. So today we have no memorandum. To give who memorandum? Because these people are not a government. These are thugs. These are terrorists here, and we can't legitimize terrorists. We must never give them the respect that we give to the deputy ambassador of Palestine. These people here have got no respect for humanity and for life. Therefore, we must never find ourselves in any cooperation, none whatsoever, with the Israeli embassy. We are happy that the African Union refused to give Israel an observer status in the African Union. We don't want only that. We want a resolution of the African Union that says the embassies of Israel in the whole of Africa must go until the people of Palestine find their peace. So fighters, by coming here, it's an act of sacrifice. You understand the pain of the children of Palestine. You are saying to the children of Palestine, your pain is our pain. You are saying to the children of Palestine, we will never enjoy our freedom as long as you don't enjoy freedom in Palestine. We are not free here as long as Palestine is not free. So, comrades, you did not come because you are bored. You came because you understand the mission. That the mission is a total liberation of the oppressed all over the world. And that mission must continue. We thank the leadership of Gauteng. We thank all progressive forces that organized this gathering today. It's not the last one. As long as our children are being killed in Palestine, this place will become our permanent residence, because we must never allow them to forget, not even for a second, that they are murderers.
So that was a very powerful straight warning to Israel. That particular video has been trending for a while, and it was not received well by the Israeli. So that is it. We have a couple of videos, a lot of videos of Mr. Malema that has been trending. He's a brave and fearless leader. So far, so good. He has been a very fearless man who is very exciting to listen to. If you are you have this, you are a Pan-African, you'll be proud of him. We have a lot of his videos around, but I think I've taken enough of your time, so let's end it here. I'm going to put a lot of them together and bring it to you again. So please go to my description box. You are going to find a Telegram link. Click on that particular link and just join our Telegram group as we discuss about the well-being of Africa. Those who hasn't subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification button. Thanks for watching.